I don't use the laptops. I'm not quite so sure about those, but I think maybe Flopzilla is one of them. That type thing. Nevertheless, a lot of people get confused about studying, and they try to study all the positions and all the spots. And if you're old and feeble like me, I'm just not going to remember all those. But if I learn them as I go, spots that give me trouble a lot, this is one of them. Not only have I spent time doing it before I ever did this podcast, now that I've run through it with you on the podcast, this spot is pretty cemented in my brain. When I have those scary, middling, straightening flops. Now, I'm going to go back and run some other flops. I'm going to run, I think, lower end flops I think would play themselves. I don't think I have a problem with that. Those upper end Broadway type flops, I think I would need to maybe look at some equities on. And then I think paired board flops like, let's say 6-6 deuce. How about that? How about, I think we're ahead there. I think we're probably fine, but I'd like to run equities and see. So if you have problem spots, and you know what spots you find yourself on all the time that frustrate you, and they're fresh in your head when you come home from the poker room. So, if you're like me and you go play for 2 or 3 days at a time, you need to be constantly taking notes over those 2 or 3 days, and you can look at all of them when you get back home, or when you leave the poker room that night, maybe you spend an hour when you get home running them, or maybe you get up the next morning, you run them, and then go into play the next day. Or you do both. Run them a little bit when you get home that night. Run them again the next morning when you get up. So you're kind of doing it on the fly. Whichever approach works best for you. You need to be evaluating those hands. You need to be evaluating those situations. Because if you take little nibbles, little bites, and that's what this is. You're taking a little chunk. It's what bugged me today. Or it's what I've noticed is bugging me a lot. I'm in this situation a lot. I need to understand the situation better. I can promise you moving forward, I'm way better equipped to handle 3-betting from the small blind with these type hands than I was this past weekend. It was something I hadn't spent a lot of time with. I just cursory looked at it, You see the gurus talk about it. You maybe see them talk about how they played a hand like that once or something. But you by no means understand the equities involved, frequencies involved, how you should be playing it. And so you need to know it. You need to... And so this is how you learn these positions back and forth. Look, honestly, this is for real now. Probably 50 or 60% of poker situations are pretty easy. They're not that complicated. They're kind of straightforward if you're playing well. If you're playing the right ranges and the right positions, you're going to find yourself in position a lot with good ranges, well-constructed ranges. You're going to know the opponents in your hand with, and the spots are kind of going to play themselves. It's those other 20 or 30 or maybe even 40% of hands, whatever, in situations you're going to have problems with. So take them as they come and as they bug you and learn them as you go. And as a piece at a time, you slowly get better as a player. That's my advice to you. And then obviously, listen to great podcasts like this one. I appreciate it. Subscribe to it if you haven't. Refer a friend. Add us on Facebook, Low Limit Cash Games. And you can shoot me messages on there. I'm happy to look at those. And good luck at the tables. We'll talk to you next time.
Legends, the greatest social casino and sportsbook experience, has arrived at Legends.com. With thousands of the best free-to-play casino-style games, chances to earn millions of bonus coins and win real money. Legends is revolutionizing the Vegas experience wherever you are. If you love winning, then you'll love playing at LEGENDZ.com. Legends is a free-to-play social casino. Void where prohibited. Play responsibly. Visit Legends.com for more information. Legends with a Z.com is legendary fun.
If you work in quality control at a candy factory, you know strict safety regulations come with the job. It's why you partner with Grainger. Grainger helps you find the high quality and compliant products your business needs to inspect, detect, and help correct issues. And the sweetest part is, everyone gets a product that's as safe to eat as it is delicious. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
The Joe Rogan Experience.
When you had Mel Gibson on your podcast the other day, he brought up the Shroud of Turin. Yeah. And I always thought that was fake. Because like in the 80s.
What is that, Eddie?
The Shroud, it's like the cloth that Jesus was buried in and left an image of him. And in the 80s, like 1988, they did carbon dating on it. And they go, oh, it's fake. See, that's the...
Yeah, it literally has
I
like
never,
the image of Jesus
Yeah,
burned into it somehow or another.
I never looked into it. I just figured it was fake. But listening to you and Mel Gibson talk about it, I'm like,
it's
what?
real?
Is there
Well, apparently it's a lot older than they assumed when they did the first testing. And one of the problems is
Holy
that there's
shit.
cross-contamination. There's also been repairs to it. But they did subsequent testing, and they found that it was like 2,000 plus years old.
Yeah, and the one thing,
It's in the range.
it's the most studied artifact ever.
Damn.
Like particle physicists, nuclear engineers, they all studied it, and some of them, some believe in it, some don't believe in it, but they all agree on one thing: no one knows how they did it.
Right.
There's
No one knows how they
paint,
made it. It's
There's
not
no
paint.
paint. There's no
Yeah.
dye. So, dude, all this week, all day, I'm just watching documentary after podcast on this shit, and it's fucking mind blowing.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy.
mind-blowing.
If it turns out that they can't figure out how anyone could ever do it, like if no one has come up with a theory of how to do that today,
Yeah.
that's where it gets really interesting.
There's this
because it wasn't paint and it wasn't dye and
They all agree on that.
Wasn't burned.
They all
in.
agree it's a mystery. But then the skeptics say, just because we don't know how it was done doesn't make it real, which is a good point. But then the other side's like, dude, all these scientists have no idea how they faked it. It's got to be real. So it's all about how you look at it.
I lean on the side to be real.
There's a nuclear
Well, that'll be
engineer.
the most fun.
There's a nuclear engineer. You can go on YouTube. His name is Robert Rucker. Watch his breakdown. This guy's a nuclear dude. He's breaking down the it's insane because it's a negative image on a non-photographic material. It's
Right.
linen.
Right.
And then it turns out, like if you look at it with the naked eye, it's white, and then you see the image of the face is kind of like yellow. You can barely see it. But in like 1898, some photographer took a picture of it and then looked at the negative, and then all of a sudden in the negative, the whole body appears, front and back, because he was buried like with
We see the images, Jamie?
he was buried with the sheet under him, and it went around his head. That's the
crazy.
back of him, because
Yeah, the right one's the back and the left one's the front. That's crazy.
no one knows how they did it.
and it
No,
even has,
no
like,
scientist.
the holes where the wrist would be nailed.
Yeah, it's fucking crazy. That was the thing with Jesus. With me, it's very hard. It was always very hard to believe in Jesus. I'm like, dude, the resurrection, like that's a hard one to wrap your brain around, right? I could believe that he existed. I could believe that he got crucified. A lot of people got crucified, but the resurrection was always the thing that kept me from really believing in Jesus. I'm like, there's no way the resurrection was real.
But even if this is real, Eddie, it doesn't mean he was resurrected, right? It just means he was crucified and he was the actual real man.
No, the thing is how the image got on. The people that believe that it's real believe that when he was resurrected, some kind of ultraviolet radiation, some kind of burst made that image. Because that's because that image has never been on any other shroud. People get buried in shrouds all the time. There's never an image like that.
Pretty crazy.
And the crazy thing is the blood, there's no image under the blood. So the blood was there first, and then the image is after. It's crazy shit. Dude, I'm like, I went deep down a rabbit hole all week just watching the skeptics, the scientists, particle physicists. They have no idea how the fuck that image got on the front and back, the back of them too.
This podcast is brought to you